benefit. So flowers we started in around 2017-18, focusing on the flowers vertical and social gifting. We saw an opportunity with this market. It's very fragmented, a lot of mom and pop shop, unserved at all. Plus the timing was a key success factor for us. As you know, culture will huge change اللي حصل with the Vision 2030. This is really untapped market, so we took the challenge to serve a certain need of our society that is increasing and unserved in the right equality. Since then, we're now actually let's start with in 2019 we started in Saudi. 2020, just before COVID, we were in two countries and three cities, so Kuwait and Saudi. Uh, we ended up 2021 in 9 countries and 35 cities. Yeah, we had an average of more than 2 cities a month in the last 3 years. Yep.
Majid. Yes. Hello, everyone, and my name is Abdul Majid, and I'm the CEO and co-founder for Salasa. I'm glad to be here with you today. So basically, Salasa, we established Salasa in 2017. With the tremendous growth that's happening for e-commerce in the region, there was clearly missing infrastructure that need for e-commerce to scale. And in Salasa, what we are providing is end-to-end solution for e-commerce businesses to operate on behalf of them with an aggregator model that integrate with most of the service providers in the country. We do the operation from freight forwarding until the last mile delivery, until the package sent to the shopper. So in the last 5 years, we have been growing really fast. As of today, we serve more than 250 e-commerce business, from big retailers, from huge marketplaces, and also for SMEs that we help them to scale up in Saudi and even beyond Saudi.
Thank you so much. So if I would just start the conversation, I think with Khoy Mohammed, you work in a very, very complex and super delicate supply chain. You know, flowers, you would imagine, I'm sure everybody here imagines the logistical challenge of shipping flowers to the desert. So please talk to us about some of the challenges you faced when you were trying to scale the business, and how you overcome these challenges and some of your successes, and a little bit about the pitfalls that you sort of fell victim to during that journey.
Sure, good question. But let me just give a little bit of a brief before that. So I know we had two options, either to go with pure play e-commerce and manage it all ourselves, or we go with an aggregator model and use the mom and pop shops in the society. So we choose the pure play e-commerce for a few reasons. One, unit of economics and the quality of services that you need to succeed really in such a business. However, choosing pure play e-commerce was a huge challenge for us to manage really the supply chain, as you mentioned, also managing يعني all the other part of the e-commerce usual challenges. Focusing on the challenges of the supply chain, yes, it's a huge challenge. So you have around 4 days from cutting the flowers from the farm till you sell it to the customer, so you can have it with the customer for 1 or 2 weeks. That was really huge. So we started with working with the wholesalers in the countries that we work in, and then we improved our procurement team, supply chain team, to the point that now we have in our payroll. So some of my colleagues who are working in Kenya or in Ecuador, waking up every morning and going to the farms to choose the best quality for our customers. The biggest challenge now we're facing really a logistics part of it, because we have around five flights coming every week to Riyadh only. So almost every day we have a flight coming from different countries. فالlogistics part, so we're more of يعني managing the international logistics is much difficult than the last mile delivery. So in a week ago we had the Mother's Day, so we were really fighting on the flowers around the world. We were really tracking the flights to the point we had a flight that had an accident. So I was thinking that the problem is getting bigger. It's not only flowers now. We're solving issues of airplanes that getting crushed. This is, yes, it's a huge challenge. How are we solving it? Is really building the right capabilities. I think COVID really gave us a very good lesson to the point that we're expanding in different cities and hiring different people in different countries that we never met. So my colleagues in Ecuador or in Kenya never met them, and they're in flowered payroll now, and they're optimizing our cost. They are improving our PNL. Thanks to my colleagues really in the different departments.
Thank you. Jessica, you and I have been speaking over the past couple of days, and you touched upon several ways you can approach geographic expansion. Please talk to us a little bit of some of the thoughts and how you help some of your founders get over the challenge of going cross-border, doing business cross borders.
Sure. No, it's a really good question. So I operate in Southeast Asia, and actually, I think Southeast Asia in many ways is actually very similar to the Gulf region. Southeast Asia is actually a region which is a collection of a number of countries, each with its own characteristics and complexities, different cultures, different religion, different language, different socioeconomic classes. And so to be able to scale across the region it's not a trivial thing. But at the same time, it is also very possible as well too. And I think the one really great thing about technology is that it allows startups and people to transcend not just sectors, but also geographies as well too. I think for Open Space Ventures, one of the things that we're known for in the region is that we are able to help our startups to expand outside of home country. And the reason why we're able to do that is because we have offices on the ground throughout the entire region. And when I think about regional expansion, there's a couple of really important factors. Of course, you have to have a good business in your home country. And again, technology enables a lot of that expansion, but I think one of the really key things for a successful expansion is your ability to identify good partners to work with. Again, going back to the issue of the complexities around each of the countries, they're different in nature. You may have enough similarities to tie a thread together, but there usually is some form of localization that needs to be done. And that initial partner selection is so incredibly critical. It can make or break your entire business in a new region. And so the ability to be able to select a good partner for you to work with, it could be a strategic partner, it could be a first anchor client. That decision point is really, really important. And a lot of times in these more emerging markets, a lot of it is also tied to relationships with regulators, as an example, relationships with the local traditional ecosystem as well too. These are really, really important factors to get right from the get-go, and I think a really critical part in the success of an expansion story outside of the home country.
Mohammed, anything to reflect on?
Well,
Jessica mentioned?
يعني building on the connection with the regulator, this is, يعني I've been in consulting before, so I've seen Saudi when it starts changing in the regulatory part of it. But more than that, even the culture in the regulatory government entities is a huge change, and this is really a huge difference. And yesterday, I was looking to a speech of His Excellency Minister of Commerce. He was talking that the top leader in the country, the Crown Prince, was talking about the entrepreneurs and the tech company and how did it help during COVID. And to be honest, we've seen it ourselves, how the regulator themselves are calling and knocking the door saying, what do you need more? What's stopping you? What do you know? How can we help you with this and that? And I really mean it. And what we can see now, Saudi after COVID, and how all of these events coming up together, and you see all the ministers and leaders of the government really close to us. have helped a lot. يعني أنا دكتورة سارة يمكن تزعل مني بس we bothered her a lot in the Ministry of Investment. We were calling day and night to get our license, but what I was surprised of is really the whole team is responding weekends, weekdays, day and night, and they're even calling. Today when she saw me, she's like, "Ah, what happened? Are you done now?" So the regulator here in Saudi is really, alhamdulillah, it's a huge difference. Yeah, and we all here, we've been here in 2015, 16. I was actually working in advisory, in consulting, and one of my clients was the government at that time, but I didn't really want to stay. But when I saw it now, it's a huge difference. So, yeah, maybe the reason because I left that they improved. Yeah.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Mohammed. Yes, Majid, you're in the business of enabling e-commerce players to sort of overcome the scalability issue. Talk to us a little bit about, we did talk previously before, and you said there was a sort of an education element, there was a sort of a learning curve with a lot of these guys, and not holding tight to a lot of their back office operation. Talk to us a little bit about these challenges, how you sort of overcome the educational challenge when it comes to telling people really what it is that you're going to help them with.
Exactly. So basically our model is relying on e-commerce businesses to outsource their operation, not doing it by themselves. Because this is something that I'm always saying to them, even before Salasa. As an e-commerce business, your core business is sales and marketing and sourcing for new products and make sure that your customer having a great experience. It's not about logistic and operation. So basically, give away the distraction and focus on your core. And we started in 2017 because we saw the tremendous growth happening in the market, and we know that a lot of e-commerce businesses, they struggle when they do marketing campaign. They always struggle when they have a peak in orders. So they don't have the scalability that gives them the ability to fulfill their orders and even to have customer satisfaction. So, and the other thing is a lot of startups in e-commerce, unfortunately, they invest a lot of their capital in CapEx and building operations. So at that time, we came up to say, guys, invest your capital to marketing and acquiring customers. And what we will do, we will aggregate those fulfillment and last mile delivery to you. And we'll give you one platform that give you end-to-end solution. We thought before we started that, well, this will look a great solution for everyone, but we faced resistance at the beginning because people before 2017, they always like to do everything by themselves. So everyone open a company, he will rent a warehouse, he will buy a car, he will do everything by himself. So the concept of outsourcing wasn't that trending at that time. So within time, we invested a lot in education people that how we can help you to scale, how we can really show you that your company can do 10x within a year. And what we did, that a couple of our clients, they helped us to make like a small video to educate our potential customers that this company has grown 10x in the past year because they have the scalability solution. So we invested a lot in education, we invested a lot of how we can show that the solution can give them more. The second thing, what we are doing is we enable omni-sales channel. So basically, our clients, instead of selling in their own marketplace or in their own e-commerce, they can sell even through marketplaces like noon.com, Amazon, and so on. So we enable the omni-sales channel, so we give them the edge of scalability. A lot of added value services came after, and we saw really examples of our clients that they are making a huge growth in the last couple of years.
Amazing. So I'm gonna throw a question completely out of left field. It's not something we've discussed in the past. I love putting my panelists on the spot there. But you're in a way democratizing this access to like e-commerce. You're making it almost possible for anybody to just go, just buy a bunch of things, send them your way to warehouse, and then they'll fulfill based on sort of, either a social media influencer or somebody that can immediately open sort of a sales channel. So like, I looked at the idea of fulfillment and achieving operational excellence within fulfillment as a competitive edge. For example, I order a lot from Amazon because they fulfill on the spot. A lot of times I order something and immediately the next day it's hitting my door. So how are you sort of, part of that educational process, how are you telling these people like, okay, yeah, you're going to be you, unlike everybody else, you're going to be delivered almost with the same level of quality, as opposed to them sort of priding themselves on being very good fulfillers?
Interesting. So, by the way, when's the last time that you ordered from Amazon?
Last week.
Great. And so we are the third party that we are helping Amazon right now in Saudi. So
I didn't know that.
yeah. So basically, from last September, we are the fulfillment partner for Amazon in Saudi.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was a great milestone, to be honest. And the second thing is, that what we are telling our customers that we are investing a lot in building the knowledge to what we are doing and in the technology that we are using. So basically, you will get the benefit out of that by joining Salasa platform. So yes, in the beginning it wasn't easy, but I think within time, when we start having the good reference, to be honest, today we work with huge marketplaces like Amazon and huge brands like Zara, Mango, Aldo, all those brands on fashion, also on the small e-commerce businesses. As you mentioned, now e-commerce, it's become much easier to start in Saudi, especially with having all the ecosystem service provider like Zid and Sella for e-commerce platforms, like Salasa for logistics, and so on. So I think now, as an e-commerce market, still we are in the beginning. There is a huge potential coming in the future.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, I thought I was putting you on the spot. You put me on the spot, so thank you for that. Jessica, I have a question for you that is actually in two parts. First, you talk a lot about the importance of monetization for scale, for the ability to reach scale. Tell us a little bit why you believe that, and then second, are there any other means of reaching scalability other than geographic expansion?
Yeah, so actually it's a very interesting follow-up question to what Abdul Majid was talking about, because I think what you're doing at Salasa is very interesting, because I think that even within e-commerce, you are transcending many sectors within e-commerce as well too, because what you're doing, I've seen business models in Southeast Asia and India and China that just focus on that e-commerce enablement part, or just focus on that first mile and maybe mid-mile part, and other players who are just doing the last mile, and then other players who do the omni-channel retail SaaS platform, but you're already doing all of it. So that in itself, I think, is an example of a different way of scaling as well too.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, I think that's the amazing thing about technology, is that there really is no limits to scaling. It's just how you sort of imagine it. The ability to transcend geography, but also sectors, even within a single sector, is quite incredible. I'll give you an example. So Open Space, we were an early investor in a little company at that time in 2014. It was a company called Gojek. They started out as a motorcycle ride-hailing company. So it was like Uber, but with two-wheeled motorcycles, because in the country of Indonesia, the traffic is terrible, and if you actually want to get from point A to point B, the easiest way to do that is to get on the back of a motorcycle and kind of transverse the traffic. And so when we invested in this little company, they had 300 motorcycle taxis on the platform. This was in 2014. And with our capital and capital of others that came in after us, quite a bit of ingenuity, a lot of hard work, Gojek, now called GoTo, is the most widely used consumer app in the country of Indonesia. Indonesia has a population of 270 million people. This app is used by about 100 million people a month, with 55 million transacting users. So you're either 55 million people either do something on the app where they're paying money for some service or are receiving some form of income from the app as a driver or a merchant. And if you think about that, that's actually pretty wild. How did they actually do that? So they started out as a motorcycle ride-sharing company, and so you had that relationship with the consumer and the drivers. They quickly parlayed that into a food delivery business. So now you have consumers, drivers, and you also have restaurant merchants. Oh boy, Indonesia is a country where 66% of the population is not banked. This is not even including the underbanked population, and the credit card penetration is under 5%. We've got to find a way to facilitate a way for people to actually pay for their rides and for the food and for the merchants to receive payment for the food. So they started a wallet. That wallet now has become probably the largest, on its way to become the largest financial services company in the country. It's going to be the primary destination for the vast majority of the population to have access to any kind of meaningful banking services, investments, insurance, lending, and all of this has happened in the span of less than 10 years. And if you think about it, this company has not only transcended sectors, but it's also transcended various kinds of people in the population as well. So you have the blue-collar workers who are the drivers. You have emerging middle-income earners who maybe are the mom-and-pop restaurant merchants. And then you have the high-income individuals who are now transacting on the platform and buying things on the e-commerce platform. It's transcended sectors, but also populations. And this is a company that just priced its IPO last week at a $28 billion valuation, and all of this has happened within the last 10 years. And so I think what's really exciting to me is also just how these new business models are emerging out of countries like Indonesia, but also Saudi as well too. And these are probably business models that don't exist anywhere else.
Very cool. So, Mohammed, at Flowered, you went from 3 cities in 2 countries to, what, 35 cities in 9 countries in about a year and a half, less than 2 years. A little bit talk to us about this ability to expand in these different geographies with different rules and regulations and different sort of government procedures and requirements and cultures, subcultures. I know we're all Arabs, we share very similar cultures, but Saudi is different than Jordan, than Egypt, than Kuwait. So like, talk to us a little bit about, how did you, achieve this success with rapid expansion?
Yeah, actually, moreover, even in Saudi, Saudi is huge, so the culture is also different from east to west in terms of gifts, especially when you come to gifting. So what you gift in Jeddah, you don't gift it in Dammam sometimes, or it doesn't fit. So in the model that we work with, yes, we understand this challenge, and it's actually an opportunity for us. So we hire the right capability in each city, not even a country, to solve this problem and to provide the right offering for the society that we work with. How did we expand? So during COVID, we were analyzing the situation and how people actually, the amount of orders really increased during COVID with less marketing. So we saw the real demand for such a service, or the society saw such a demand for this service. And if you remember, people were not allowed to travel. And in this region, yani, we're very well connected even between the countries. You have some relatives in Kuwait or Qatar or UAE. We saw an opportunity at that time that there is a need and this is the right time. So we started in the right time, and I think we expanded in the right time because everything was closed, and this is the right time really to be everywhere and let everyone use you or use your service and get used to it. It's a very bright and new thing to people. So we talked to our investors and we raised the needed amount. So we expanded everywhere. In terms of regulatory and how did it help us? It was يعني during COVID, alhamdulillah, it was يعني most of the governments in our area were really supportive. So many of our like paperwork was done online. So alhamdulillah, yeah.
So you talked about having a mini CEO in every country. So
Yeah, so-
sort of like not a country manager, but like a mini CEO, like
Yeah. So again, the culture is different. Again, even inside Saudi, the culture is different. So and we want to fly really. We don't want to open and wait for 2-3 years to be the biggest or to compete in that country. So when we want to open any new country, we start with the country head or the mini CEO of this country, and we give him our Bible. This is our manual. This is how we work. So we start with our like government paperwork and licensing. In parallel to that, you hire and you build your infrastructure and contractor. So within 2 months, it takes us from decision to really launching in a country. It takes us 2 months, and I think one of the key reasons is really trying to centralize the shared services, but trying to actively decentralize the operational services, localize some of the stuff like marketing, product mix to that country. To expand really in amount of time, in a very short amount of time, in 9 countries, we needed this mini CEO role in each country. So he is or she is the lead of this country, and whatever they say, it's right. So, and they are fully responsible for the B&M, and that's the a success factor really that alhamdulillah we did.
Amazing. Jessica,
May I just add to that point?
Sure,
Actually, 'cause
please,
I think
go
this is a very important point. That localization is really, really important. But when we talk about the ability to expand outside of home country into similar markets, there also has to be a common thread. And I think, at least from my experience, what that common thread has been is, to your point, it's about the same or relatively same starting point. I don't mean necessarily that we're starting at the same time, but what I mean by that is, for example, at least in our markets, you can scale a entertainment platform, a social entertainment platform, and in Indonesia and in the Philippines, because the starting point for the vast majority of the consumers is they're all on low to mid-end Android devices in a low latency environment where 3G is fairly well adopted, 4G is moderately adopted, and 5G spectrum auctions haven't even happened yet. Right, and so that informs your decisions around that experience for the customers. It's probably vertical and not horizontal on your smartphone. It informs your decisions around the kind of content, probably short form, because people are also probably sensitive to the cost of data as well. So that's an example of same starting point. Another example may be by age demographic. Right, we have a portfolio company in Vietnam that is a gamified investment platform, a very similar model also in Indonesia as well too. A lot of synergies there, very different markets, different products, but same kind of age group, a lot of the same interests and drives behind that, the Gen Z population. And so again, same starting point. And I think that is actually a really important common thread that has to tie your business model together when you expand outside of your home country.
Anything to add, Mohammed? Reflect on that? Very good. What's next for Salasa? Where do you see the business going in terms of like growth, and what are sort of your aspiration from like either geographic or like product lines or?
So I can start from where my colleagues like finished. So basically, scaling and growing, it can be two ways. You can do horizontal or vertical. So basically, for us in the last 5 years, we focused on vertical growth. So we add up new business lines, add up new verticals, new services that complete our offering to our clients. Also that giving the opportunity that to become one-stop shop for our clients. And that was really the goal until today. So a platform that you can have all your end-to-end value chain services within one platform, and that took us a long time. Now I think for Salasa, we are ready to go horizontal right now and expanding even beyond Saudi. So as of now, we are shipping all around the world to Saudi, and from Saudi all around the world. But we want to expand that to cover the GCC and even beyond in Middle East. Salasa vision is to be the first option for any e-commerce business to outsource their operation to. And our goal is to have the digital transformation for offline retailers to be online with the help of our partners like Salman here from Sella. We work with them to transfer those offline retailers to online. We're working with Zed, with Shopify, with a lot of platforms, enable offline to expose the online business, even to introduce them to the new marketplaces to have their scale in the game.
Amazing. Well, I'm very conscious of time, so I want to leave some room for questions. So if there is a mic being passed around, I'm not sure. Any questions in the room for the panelists? Here, I see a hand over there in the end. Reham, is there a mic that will be passed around? Okay. Apologies for that.
I think we will be.
Yeah, I think we can hear you. If you want to stand up and.
Ta-da. And I think I heard my question.
Yeah,
So
your
that the
question
first
was clear. I think you have to
the
repeat
first
the
one
first
wasn't
question.
clear. I don't know if you want to repeat it. سمعت أنت الأول؟
لا ما اسمع بس answer until.
لا بيسكلي اول
عدها كلها أجل الله يعني.
كلها طيب ابشر. بيسكلي بالبدايه طبعا اهنيكم على نجاحكم. So sincere congratulations on your successes, and personally I felt inspired. Second question to Mohammed, when you look at say flower business and distribution, I wouldn't consider it a niche. I mean, it is arguably very well served. How did you manage to become one of the leaders or very successful in such a sector?
Okay. Yeah, I heard you. يعطيك العافية. شاكر لك والله على ثقتك في Flowered. First of all, thank you for trusting in Flowered, and I think our key value propositions is really the service that we provide to the customer. So from the user experience throughout the app, if you've used the app, and the features that you can add to your gifting, or how do you want to deliver it, plus the quality that you're getting, the ease of ordering your gift, committing to your social responsibilities, and that's what you see, and that's what you think it's easy. But when we spoke about the supply chain of it and how to manage this quality, it's really a huge effort that the team, we're now more than 700 people trying to manage this, and what you see is the nice gift at your table. There is a huge effort done behind it. So our key differentiator, let's say, I believe in, is our innovation in providing niche customer experience. That is we're trying to do it by heart, and every month or so we're trying to keep innovating in our product mix, in our features to the customers, because it's also a dynamic business that we're working in. So if you don't keep innovating, you're gonna slow down. So yeah. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for the panel, everyone. This is such an important topic, scalability, specifically in our region, because we have to navigate so many different cultures and so many different countries, 22 countries in the Arab world. And congratulations on all the success that you've done so far. But if I can ask each of the panelists, especially the operators, if you had one wish for breaking down the barriers and being more scalable, what would it be? What would it look like? And for Jessica, maybe you can give us a little bit of insight. How much of the governments in Southeast Asia are working together to help solve these issues? Is there a platform that allows that maybe we can learn from in the MENA region? Thank you.
Maybe you can start.
So I would say these governments across Southeast Asia, of course, have generally been very, very supportive of the growth and development of the technology ecosystem. But I would say a lot of the development has really been led by private enterprise. Private enterprise has led, and the government has supported, and that entire ecosystem has come up together. And so it's really been working hand in hand together, I would say. Maybe I can offer a perspective on your first question, though, as well, too. I think one of the really big turning points for us in Southeast Asia, and to your earlier question, which I realize I never answered as well too, around monetization. Monetization is very important because having vast customer adoption, client adoption is great, but if you can't make money, then it's not actually a business. And so monetization is very, very important, but one of the really key pivot points was actually solving for how do you actually accept payment. Again, huge populations, unbanked or underbanked, and low to no credit card penetration. So you can have a great business model where people are consuming, they have a desire to transact online, but if there's no actual way to pay, it's not a business. Yep. And so I think that has been the single biggest pivot point, is solving that problem, the ability to pay. And that has its own flavors in each of the countries. In Indonesia, there's been the proliferation of wallets that's solved a lot of that problem, but even innovation with some of the more traditional businesses that have been a little bit more progressive, where online bank transfers has become a lot easier and a lot more frictionless. That's been a big innovation in many of the markets as well too. But I think that has been the one big game changer.
So I think one of the most challenges that we faced in the start, but we were able to overcome. So in this part of the world, 80% of the economy, the GDP, is created by either the government, the family businesses, or multinational companies. And only maybe 20% is from SMEs. So as a startup, when you start, the easiest segment is SMEs. So basically, but you end up like making yourself in a way like very smaller market. So you need to penetrate that 80% market by getting in to deal with government and family companies and multinational companies. And it's not easy for startups. You need to have a good reference to even just knock the door. So, but for us, we were lucky, to be honest. In our first year in 2017, in December, we launched Noon.com in Saudi together, and it was really our first like corporate company, let's say, that gave us a good reference in terms of when we go to other corporates or family companies, we say, Noon our clients, so you can be our clients easily. And that opened a lot of doors to us. And I feel that challenge when I meet any, especially B2B startups, when they said, okay, the market, I thought it's bigger, but still I'm limiting myself in SMEs, and I don't have the access to big companies. And this is where I think VCs can really help. So when VC get in seed stage or early stage, then they can open doors for them with the corporates.
Thank you. Ahmed, the wish question, if you had one wish.
Well, I think Abdullah or Jessica really covered it.
All right. I'm very conscious of the time, unfortunately.
Exactly,
Please feel free to reach to the panelists. They'll be here answering any burning questions you might have. Please join me in thanking the panelists. Jessica, Abdul-Majid, Muhammad, thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Jessica.